again. Episode
Times 4.
4.
A whole, does that make it a month? Is that,
Oh, yeah. This is like our
yeah.
month in. Oh my
I just,
gosh.
yeah, we should have cake or something.
I was gonna say, should I like start throwing confetti or like just,
Yeah. I mean, we
something?
just realized it, so that's clearly,
That just again, this is yeah, just an testament to us. So
yes.
yeah. But
Welcome
hi.
back, everyone,
Exactly. We're glad to have you all here
to our
and thank you for
faithful
listening to
listeners.
exactly. And even our new listeners, because who
And
knows,
our,
maybe
yeah,
this will be the
oh, yeah,
one that
yeah,
people are like, this is the podcast for me. This is
yes.
this is the one. Yeah.
They've done it 4 times now. That's a good sign.
Exactly.
These are
Man.
two consistent women.
I mean, we do hold ourselves pretty accountable, especially when it comes to you and me, like making
Yeah.
time for each other. This is
Oh yeah.
just a
I mean, that's potentially I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's this episode, maybe it's not.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's we are not fans of the I think I'm probably about to drop my first curse word. I'm shocked it's taken 4 episodes.
I feel like I should
Uh
go like warning.
yeah, right. I paused so that not we're not fans of like the busy is I think busy is a bullshit word. I've always thought that.
Yeah,
It's I'm too busy for that. No, you just have to like prioritize some things. So, and
exactly.
you and I have done a great job of prioritizing our friendship.
100%. Yes, we have always made time for each other. And to say that, like the always part, I mean, we've been probably talking every day in some social media capacity of something for at least 6 or 7 years. And
At
I only
least.
say that because I know that Charles, yeah, and
Yeah.
it had to be
Yeah.
before I was
For
pregnant.
sure,
So
since yeah. Which is an interesting thing, I think, because usually when people have kids, they tend to drop off, which is obviously like makes total sense, right? Like your whole world
yeah,
shifts and
yeah,
becomes like the little baby becomes they're a
right.
little bigger than that, I think. I don't know.
Yes. But
uh
no, it's so true
I
because you
I
kind of
like how I was holding a
refocus.
puppy baby.
Yes,
This is
the
human babies
baby.
are
Yeah.
this way. I was holding a little puppy baby.
Exactly. I knew what you were talking about. But no, it really is true. Like when I think if anything, when I had kids, it kind of forced me to reevaluate every person that I give energy to. And I was like, Casey is somebody I really want to give energy to on a
I
daily
did it.
basis. So like yes, you did award, best friend, like trophy, all the things. Yes.
I think that goes back though to like finding your people and knowing kind of
Exactly.
who it's trite, but like who fills your cup, who burns your energy,
Yep.
um, that kind of thing. So and who you can count on, right? Because
Yeah.
um, I think there are certainly times in our lives where we do get busier and it's just a lot of things happening all at once. So we'll do quicker check-ins or
Yeah.
um, there might be a day or two where you don't hear from, someone and it's like, all right, they're probably just really busy. I'm gonna check with them
Right.
another day.
Or we already
Don't hear
knew
from
that that
them.
person had a bunch of plans, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not going to hear from,
yeah,
Casey
yeah,
or
yeah,
so and so, like it's just that. But
yeah,
um, I know I'm kind of the time person for this,
yeah,
but I want to dive us in because I feel like our ADHD is kind of taking us on a bit of a detour. So I want to get the train back on track. But we're trying something a little different today. Is that
we are.
correct? Yes.
Yes, I believe that's what has been decided.
Yes. So we're not going to do the turkey today. Instead, and I don't
Womp
think we really
womp.
have a working title for what this is, but it's kind of like a spotlight topic. We're gonna
Yeah,
focus on something specific and dive
yeah. I think
in.
this might happen every now and then where we've got a topic that
Yep.
was in the turkey and we pulled
Yes.
it out in advance. We de-stuffed the turkey so that we could talk about it specifically around this time, just
Yep.
because there are things that are happening in the world that are kind of aligning to it. So
Yep.
um, we decided to jump into this one. So shall you let we should let everyone know. Wow.
Yes, yes. I will let
Yes,
you
I do
take the
words
floor.
for a living.
And I help people communicate those words. So yes,
Listen, even word people have that's slightly part of this conversation. But
yes,
yeah, I
words are
think
hard.
people think word people have it on lock, and while we do, it's often because we have to stare at them for a long time, but it's still
Yes,
difficult to like
yes,
come up with them.
yes, indeed. Yes. So what is our
What is
topic
the
today,
topic?
Casey?
Yes. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me.
Oh, I mean, I think, well, if I'm
So
correct, I'm pretty sure
go ahead. I
we're
do
going to
have it
be
in front of
talking
me.
about layoffs
Yes.
and
Yeah.
life.
Navigating like job loss and tech
Yes,
layoffs and layoffs in general. We have both been tech laid off.
yes,
That's sort of the world we're familiar with, but
yeah,
um, obviously this is pretty applicable across the board.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what we're going to be covering today. So I don't know, do you want to start? Do you want me to start? I think we're just going to go with the our experience
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
layoffs.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, so experience with layoffs. Pretty much I have been either around layoffs or impacted by layoffs my entire career. And I that sounds crazy. But I also kicked off my career right before the 2008 housing recession. So I watched the company I was at go from, quite a few people, and then they cut the company in half. So so that's kind of been part of my career my whole
I
life.
feel like we need
Now,
a millennial
yeah,
character, like a theme song, because I have a running joke that's not a joke, it's a very serious thing, but like, are you a
yeah,
millennial if you've never been laid off?
100%. Yeah.
Because we
Or
basically
yeah,
graduate, we're some of the older ones, the elder millennials.
yes.
And we both graduated right around that time frame of
Yep. Yeah.
the economy
And
collapsing. So
it's been weird, and I've been laid off at companies that have been acquired, and I've also left companies post layoff just because I felt the need to walk away. I've also had contracts end early because of business reasons. So
mhm,
um, that's kind of at a very high level. That's kind of my story as far as
mhm.
my layoffs. Some of them have also lasted 1 month. Some of them have lasted was this is my longest from June of last year until March of this year. So yeah, the time is ticking away. But I'll leave it at that as far as my history, and I'll let you dive into kind of yours.
So mine is uh, like I said, came out of college the same time frame. I think I graduated 2009. And um, found a job, but it was not really what I wanted to be doing. But I was there for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and was laid off the first time in 2012. Um, and that was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Up like when you get laid off, you kind of go through a lot of the emotions and stuff like that, the shock and sometimes you see it coming, sometimes you don't. This was my first time, so I did not see it coming.
Yeah,
Um, and I was like, okay, I didn't want to be here anyway. That was like my initial like I'm gonna
yeah,
go. I had my own photography business at the time, so I thought maybe this is when I do that full time. That didn't happen either. Spoiler alert.
hmm,
And so the last part of like 2012 going into 2013 was some of the darkest months of my life and professional career because it was like, okay, now what? And I was getting closer to 30 when you're like, oh, I should have all these things. I should have all my ducks in a row, and my ducks are not in a
yeah,
row.
yeah,
And so it was really, I had to take inventory pretty quickly on like what I wanted to be doing, where I wanted to be doing that, and eventually made the pivot into social media, which catapulted me into where I am now.
yeah,
But that was a tough period because and back then I this is also something like back then you didn't talk about it. You did not go to LinkedIn and tell you didn't tell anyone really, but you sure
Yep.
as heck did not go to LinkedIn and tell your professional network that
Yep.
you just got laid off, and walked out of the building kind of thing. So it was a very like shameful kind of thing,
Yes.
and you didn't talk about it at all. My family
Yep.
knew, of course, and close friends, but it was not something that was a topic that was brought up.
Right.
Um, and then I was also laid off in the early part of 2023, so a decade later. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we're not making any anniversaries out of that. Um, as kind of the part of the first wave of tech layoffs, I guess. And I had a 7 month uh, unemployment stint at that time.
Yes.
So I think that's something else that people who haven't been through it, and potentially are maybe part of different like sectors and things like that don't realize that it's not easy to find a new job right now,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at all. So it's not something where you lose a job. And there was a little bit of a bubble there where I think it was easier, you know,
Yeah.
um, and for sure like that 2021 period, 2022.
Hmm.
Um, is that back when everyone was quiet quitting? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was, it was after COVID, had occurred, and companies changed, and they realized that productivity went up for employees, and they could do so much more. And there was definitely um, a bit of a hiring blitz, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and then
A lot more
about
jobs
20,
opened up as remote, which opened it up
yes,
to a lot of folks that were kind
yes,
of not used to that kind of work. I've been
yep,
remote since 2015. You've had a ton of jobs that are remote and
yep,
hybrid, so we're both
yeah,
really familiar with that world too. Um, so yeah, and that I mean that one also came with the 2023 one also came with it's one of those things where I think I made it look easier than it was, but
yeah,
it was not easy. There were a lot of hiccups there, a lot of
yes.
hurdles.
Yes. Yeah. I would definitely say even when the company that was working on they were kind of preparing for acquisition. So we were all, impacted, and there was a layoff. And even that, it was kind of like, you know, that was after I had my second kid, and there was just a lot more writing on the fact that it was like, okay, I'm not working, here's how I need to adjust, all of these things because I have two kids. And
Hmm.
it definitely, it has the pros and the cons, right? One of the things I would say as far as a blessing, because of that, I was able to volunteer at my oldest, for school, when I got to go on little field trips for them, like all of these little things where it was just like I didn't get to have that time, um, if I would have been working. And
Yeah.
it's the same with my youngest now. So, because I've been home with him full time since August, I've watched him grow up, in a very
Hmm.
different way. Most of his life, I've really watched him grow
Yeah.
up because of that. So it's just,
I was just thinking about that the other day, how cool that is for him and you, like that
yeah,
you have that like extra bonding time and
yeah,
and so many don't get that. So
yes,
especially in this world where both parents have to work
yeah.
and everything is wildly expensive and
Oh,
unaffordable.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely comes with its caveats, right?
Hmm.
Like, the piece of me that goes through the emotion of, I'm a stay-at-home full-time mom now, and I go through the, like, this is not what I expected of my life. And it's not that I don't love my kids. I love my kids to death, but I love working. I
Hmm.
love the professional piece of me, and that business side of my brain. that I get to utilize, and how my ADHD is, my superpower, when I'm able to develop systems for these things. But it definitely took me through, I mean, you've seen it. It's been a roller coaster of feeling like you're just rocking it. And then a week later, you just hit this major, I wouldn't even call it like a roadblock. It just feels like a ton of bricks just kind of hit you, where you're just
Hmm.
like, I don't know if I'm ever going to find a job again. Do I feel like a failure? Then you kind of go through this like resentful moment of, well, because I have kids, maybe it's making me not perform as well when I do my interviews. I mean, there's just all of these different things that just kind of go to play with it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, layoffs are no joke.
No,
It messes with your mind. And I know we had like prepped some questions. I think
I
that,
do. I have them in front of
yeah, I
me.
was going to say you
I
have
was
them. Yeah,
I
I
was
didn't want to
prepared.
like don't go
Yeah.
too much in. Yes, please
No,
go
you're
for
good.
it.
We're covering. We're kind of taking them off as we go, so that's good. I'm kind of like keeping track of them. But um, I mean, one of them is like how do you rebuild an identity after losing a job, which I think
Yeah.
is um an interesting subset of the topic because I do think a lot of us have gotten into a place where I mean, historically, our jobs have become our personalities and like we're all in
Yeah.
on them and this kind of thing. And it's tough when you lose that part of you. You lose that
Hmm.
team that you were a part of, these people that you saw at least 40 hours every week,
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, that's really tough to like come out of that and
Yeah.
figure out who you are. Is this still the same thing that you want now,
100%.
and still kind of working through all those little like the back of your mind voices of am I doing enough? Should I apply to one more job today? You
Yeah.
know, um,
Yeah.
can I make another connection somewhere? Like it's a constant, it is a full-time job to find a job and to like figure that
Yes.
out.
100%.
Um, so and it's exhausting because there's so many like roller coaster elements to it where you apply to something, you're excited about it, you might hear back from it, your
Yeah.
excitement and hope builds, and then sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
Um, and that really sucks. Like to have to like kind of
Yeah.
smile through that and send the thank you. I had so much fun interviewing
Yes.
letter. So
Yes. That
um,
is, I think, the thing that people don't talk enough about is the exhaustion factor, because
mhm,
it's not just like physically exhausting and mentally exhausting going, from preparing for these interviews, applying to all these jobs, updating resumes so that
I was
they're
gonna say
now
updating
applicable,
resumes.
because they're leveraging AI so much in the recruiting,
Hmm.
process now, that it's like, unless your resume is really aligned, you're just not getting through the door unless you
Yep.
actually know somebody. And even there, it's kind of
Even that's
hard
tough.
too.
Even that is really, really tough. Yeah.
Yep. And then you gotta, and for my situation, it's like, I got a kid at home full time. So the only time I get to apply for jobs is during his nap time.
Hmm.
And, if I'm going through and looking for jobs and then I find them, so I'm always kind of saving the job, if I come across it like throughout the
Yep.
day, or somebody sends it to me. And then I only have this very small time window of time to apply for a job.
Execute.
Yep. And then if I don't get on it fast enough, by the time that I do apply, there's over 100, LinkedIn says it's over
Hmm.
100. So, that has probably been one of the more exhausting pieces. Oh, and I want to add too, like in the application, um, they always say, why do you want to work here? And I see why that question is there, right? Like it's part of, I'm sure that there's probably a recruiting employer brand conversation, and like, and this is why these things end up on the application. And I'm sure you can probably speak a little bit more to that than I can. But to a certain extent in job markets like this, every time I feel like an application asks that, it's almost like you asking someone to kind of show you a bit of their soul, and then, or like be a bit more present,
Hmm.
and that's, again, that's how I apply to jobs. This isn't necessarily for everyone. Some people just keep it business 100% and all of those things. But I feel like for some of these roles, when they're really asking for like who you are and your personality, it's kind of like, well, you kind of have to show up, right?
Yeah, there's not really a
And
fake version.
no, and then when you don't hear back, the ghosting
Hmm.
piece, right? That's the other piece to this is just the I think I did some math the other day and it was like 30 some percent of jobs I never heard back from. And 15% had me apply and there was no way to even check on the status of my
Hmm.
application after that. And I'm like, in the world today, when we have things like Workday, where you can just go there and see all that. And it's just amazing that some companies just don't have that process built in where you can actually go
Hmm.
follow up on the
Yep.
status. But yeah, it's
It's definitely a system that needs some repair, refinement. I don't know
yes,
the uh something. And I do like understand it from, I mean, they are getting flooded. There's only so many recruiters
yep,
and folks who can go through these things. Um, so I get that. It's a tough, like almost chicken or egg kind of thing, but
yep,
um,
yep.
yeah, it's not a great experience
No,
in
well,
most of the
yes,
ways that it goes through. Even like you
exactly.
said, just from like the very bit of like you submit something, and for many companies, you can't even check like did they get it? Did
Yeah,
it go through?
exactly. Yeah,
So even just that is like, okay, well, good luck me. Go resume, go.
100%. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
that's really really and to have to do that multiple times
yes.
a day or Kenobi's mad too. She says,
Yeah,
"Fix your stuff, guys." Um, so yeah, I mean that's just uh, it's just exhausting. There's no
yeah,
way to explain it. It's just a burnout from it,
yeah,
which I think I told you, and I did this in my search too, where there would be days where I just steer clear of LinkedIn, which
yeah,
is tough because your brain does go like, I'm going to miss something. I'm going to miss the role, right? And I just had to retrain myself on like, then it's not the role. Like it's not the
yep,
day that I was meant to see the thing or apply to the thing. Um, because I just needed to step away from the computer. I needed to be off of LinkedIn
yep,
specifically. Um, because and I have some posts I think we both do. I'll try and link them into the blog below on sort of how we navigated this a little bit more deeply and some tips and things like that. But
yeah,
um, one of the big things for me was just like it all became, and now I think it's even worse because of the AI. Um,
hmm,
it's just this place where you would get these influencers. It seems silly that there are influencers on LinkedIn, but feeding you this information and these
yes,
tips and these, and you're doing it all. You're doing it
yep,
all, right? You're like you could show your resume to 10 different people and you're getting 12 different opinions. That's not helpful, right? So I would do a couple people that I would pick and go like,
yeah,
what do you think? Especially if I was going through like a redesign period. Mine's pretty much been the same design for the past few years now.
yep,
Um, but I met, with some folks that really were impactful, and like one of them actually had just met me and like read through my resume, and they're like, this resume doesn't read like you don't show up in this resume at all, like it's your stuff, but like I don't get you in it. And I was like,
hmm,
oh, wait.
yep,
Wait, we're supposed to have that in there because so many people had
yeah,
stripped it of me, right? And
yep,
so you can listen to all this advice and these tips and these tricks, and some of them are truly valuable and helpful, but you do also have to like sit with yourself and go like, okay, that doesn't feel right, so I'm not going to do
yep,
that.
yeah,
There's just it's a little hard to like train that or teach that, but it is a little bit of a vibe
yeah,
of like, okay, that's we're not going that way.
yep,
We're going to go this way. Um, so I think those are all really important things too, just to kind of own that moment because it
yes,
it does it does consume you, unfortunately, because it
yeah.
it is now your new full-time unpaid gig
Job, yes,
of
yes,
of trying to find what's next. So I'm kind of going through these.
yeah,
We've covered a lot of them. the audacity of corporate jargon. That could be a whole episode. We shouldn't even touch that right now.
We shouldn't even
Um,
touch that.
we can don't do it
Don't.
from your friendly copywriter. Stop using the jargon and the acronyms. Drives me nuts.
Yes. Yes.
Um, how has AI impacted like tech jobs and comms professionals specifically, do you think? That's also on my
Oh,
list, which
yeah.
is a bit of AI, just a spoiler, is a topic for, in the turkey
Yes.
for a
Yes.
future date.
Yes. I feel like specifically for this, like I mentioned earlier, recruiters are leveraging, AI to help them kind of parse through because, they're getting 100 plus applicants. That
Hmm.
it's physically impossible, right? To
Yeah.
go through all of those in a timely fashion and help them meet their goals, right?
Hmm.
Um, I would say how I'm using it from a communications perspective. Well, I'll give kind of the rundown on what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as communicators, one of the things that is really challenging is sometimes we become too attached to the things that we write, right? So a couple of things I did, which
Speak
was
for
one,
yourself.
I know, right? I exactly. But I hired a resume writer who came recommended by some other peers of mine. And I've been using her for years. She's really fantastic, just like being able to like parse through my career, and it also is really great interview prep too, because, and I do it on an annual basis. It's like every year her and I meet around the same time, where it's just like we talk about my career, what I've done, any updates, those kind of things. But having that, plus I sat down and I verbally like spoke about my entire career and recorded that for about an hour and a half. And what that helped me do and leverage AI with this was it helped me have additional context to some of the information that I was already providing in my resume, but took it down these like little bit of different paths and kind of how I perceive them. And how that helped me was then all of a sudden it's like I had access to this, my mind, if you will, of a transcript, plus all of my resumes that I've had this resume writer write for me for years, and it was able to put together this really interesting progression and be able to cough up really put together resumes for a lot of these jobs that I'm applying for that maybe are not technically what I have been doing maybe the last 2 or 3 or 4 5 years, but like I have extensive experience in my background that
Yeah.
support why I should be able to leverage, or run a team or do anything like that. So
I think
that's
it's really
personally,
interesting always to ask AI, like, what did I miss? Right?
yes,
Because it's
yes,
just like, again, it's a little bit of a gut check, a little bit of a brainstorm, take it or leave it kind of thing.
yeah,
But you're like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yes, well,
I
and
forgot
and
I did
there's
that
so
thing.
much, yes, and there's so much that's transferable to other
Hmm.
roles that maybe like we
Yeah.
just don't think about it that way. And because I have this really interesting background where I kind of said this weird intersection of, comms and tech and HR and operations, that
Hmm.
I can kind of blend and move in between all of those different organizations. So resumes, I couldn't just develop one, I have to
Yeah.
kind of have
I have
one that
multiple.
can
Yeah.
it just necessarily, right? Because every single
Yeah.
org talks about things a little different. So that's
It's
one of
also
the
like
ways
just
I've
in the
used it.
jobs that I'm applying for because I'm
Yeah.
copy and creative and I can do the strategy side of it and I can write and edit your copy. So I can do a little bit of the IC stuff and I can do some of the leadership stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm kind of that translator of like the tech to the normal human world.
Hmm. Yes.
Um, but it's depending on the role I'm applying for, I'm parsing some of that out and I'm elevating some of that for I would call myself a creative strategist, but if I'm applying to a copywriter specific role, I'm pulling more of the copywriting stuff out
Exactly.
specifically. So some of that I am using AI too to be like, what should be elevated here and what should I kind of
Yep.
second tier it kind of thing.
Yep.
So Kenobi's bringing me.
That's okay. She brings you gifts. She knows this is
Yeah,
an
there
interesting
was a
topic
stick
in
here,
which
just like 30
support
seconds.
is necessary.
Yes.
So just a time check.
Everyone
So
has
we
a
have
job.
nine, exactly. We have 9 minutes left.
9 minutes.
Yes. But
Oh,
what
you know
other
what?
questions did
So
we want to kind of talk about?
one of the fun ones that I had this, not a fun topic, but one of the fun questions I had was, what was the exact moment you knew the layoff email was coming? Which one? They should
Um,
never be emails, by the way. Just, I mean, that's like it feels like a dumb thing to say, but they should not
yeah,
be emails.
yeah,
Um, but I feel like once you go through them at least once, there is a bit of you can feel it. Like
yeah.
you don't always know when it happens, but you can backtrack it to go like, oh yeah, that's when the tide changed. And for
Yeah.
me, it is just a vibe. I can just feel it. Like something's going on, and I don't quite know what it is.
Hmm.
I will say on this front too, my advice to pretty much anyone I've ever mentored or led or whatever, just friends, like always have your resume ready.
Yes.
Always be looking. I think there's an SNL skit based on a movie
Oh
about
no.
that. Always be closing, but it's not. It's always be looking.
Well, and
um,
there's some truth to that, like
yeah.
having your and that's why I said I meet with my resume writer once a year because
Hmm.
it's like it's just built into our plan
Yep.
because if you don't do it, you sometimes forget about the
I
incredible
mean,
work that
yeah,
you've done.
I went almost at least 5 years, I think, without updating a resume.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this was sort of, like you could call like the height of my career. Kind of felt like there was a lot of awards won. There was a lot of stuff. I'm in usually content teams, so you're producing a lot.
Yeah.
I sometimes do not remember what I did yesterday, let alone a week ago, let alone a year ago. So that was a learning of like, oh, wait a minute, I should
Yeah.
be updating this regularly. I also have like a portfolio I've built out now since I'm again more on that creative side. Um,
Hmm.
and I try and update that anytime I have like a big project or something that I'm like, yeah, this should probably be
Hmm.
somewhere in that portfolio mix. And that's more of like a visual walkthrough, but that's also built by Canva. Like I grabbed a template. I
Yeah.
did make it myself, but I kind of got the foundation thought process from one of their templates, and then I Caseyfied it.
Hmm.
But the main goal of that one, like I think that really transformed that was like putting it a little bit into that star method,
Yep.
um, which I don't love,
100%.
but is out there and you kind
Yep.
of have to learn it.
Yep.
But that's the way I also like outlined my portfolio to kind of so anyone could look at it and walk through it and
Yep.
know what I was tasked with, what I actually did. Um,
Yes.
and kind of it's not just a visual look at all the pretty stuff I did.
Exactly.
But it's got like numbers and data points to it.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
Yep.
there's a bit of a I don't know a shift in the air sometimes that you can feel.
100%. Well, and even for a lot of the roles that I've had in the past, the writing starts showing up on the wall really early, especially if you're in that role where you're a strategic communications advisor, you're supporting the C-suite, you're supporting leaders in any kind of
Hmm.
way. There's just telltale signs when they start talking about, budget restrictions, you hear about hiring freezes, there's just and that's just leadership kind of prepping for things.
Yep.
And sometimes that's all it is just a hiring freeze. But I think in the reality of just the landscape these days, it's kind of like you have to anticipate that a job is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
I think the days
We
of
are not our
working
parents'
we are not
generation.
our parents. Nope. I think we always have to just ensure our resume is updated. We've got a headshot on our LinkedIn.
Yep.
My biggest tip is always follow up with people. Make sure you're getting LinkedIn recommendations. Like
Hmm.
if people left you recommendations or feedback internally on the internal HR systems, ask those people,
Yep.
move that
That's an
stuff over to
easy.
LinkedIn so it follows you.
Yep.
Yep, and it doesn't get lost. Um, and just,
Network, network, network. Always be
network.
networking.
Yeah. And also
A lot of the
take
jobs
the
I've
pause.
gotten have become it's sort of a 6 degrees of separation of who knows who
Yes.
or and I don't think some of like the networking tips too are just like I never go into a relationship looking for a job. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
how can I help you?
Same.
It's a mutual thing, but a lot of the jobs I've had have just been from natural relationship building
Yeah.
that have then
Same.
transformed into uh, pretty much the past 10 years of my career, with maybe a little bit
Yeah,
more now. Yeah, a little bit more. Um, so yeah, I always, almost always respond to like LinkedIn connections, and sometimes when they're
same.
trying to sell you something.
Exactly. Well, and even if somebody looks at my profile, I'm one of those people that I'll directly message them and just be
Hmm.
like, "Hey, I saw you looked at my profile. Just curious what landed you my way.
Why are you
Is
creeping?
there a exactly?" But for me, it's like, and I always tell them, I'm like, I'm a naturally curious person. So I'm
Yeah.
always interested as to why people view my profile and how they found me. Because but I also take all of my LinkedIn connections seriously. Like if
Hmm.
people find someone on my LinkedIn network, they know that either I have worked or met or actually physically had a conversation with this person in some capacity. And I
Hmm.
actually did that exercise a couple of weeks ago. I opened up and I went through all of my network and I remembered every single person. And if I didn't remember them, I was like, it probably is not worthwhile keeping. So I
Yeah,
disconnected. But
that's
then
amazing.
again,
Good on you.
yeah,
That's
I'm a
that it gives me
relationship
anxiety to
person.
think about. That's like up there with organizing my digital files. Ooh, it's not that I accept
Oh,
everyone, because I do not, but
but exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
it's I'm a little more loosey goosey than that.
Yeah, yeah. But I think
Um,
but that's like how what makes us a little bit different, right? It's
yeah.
like and everyone leverages their LinkedIn in a different way.
Hmm. Well, and
And
it's also
also
because I've been in social, so I was in social for a
exactly.
very long time, and at some really large companies. So it's a little, if I see that so, like seven other people from that company, chances are
Yep.
our paths have crossed. Or I know you're likely producing quality work, and even based on one quick conversation, I could validate that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm open to that. But if I don't have any connection, or like, yeah, I don't accept
No,
that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I have a feeling we're probably coming close to time, but I do
We're
have
under
one
the
more
2 minute
question.
mark. Yes. Yes.
What is one thing you wish someone had told you before your first layoff?
Oh, I have to say, don't, don't, don't be afraid to go in those dark times and feel bad about what's happening
Hmm.
because what goes down must come back up.
Yep.
And just flow with that. That's
We call it
my
sitting in
final.
the shit. Since
Yeah.
I've already cursed on this one, I'm just going to keep going.
I'll be like
I'm going to
explicit
bookend the
material.
episode with two uses. Um, yeah, I think for me it would be to talk about it, because
Yeah.
there was no talking about it, and that honestly ate me up more than the
Yeah.
layoff itself was, like this like dark secret you had to like walk around with.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and while also navigating that you didn't have money, and couldn't pay for things, and like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah, just talk about it would be mine. Um, so yeah, I think
Well, we definitely have
that's not
some
all
good
she
tips
wrote about, because
here.
this is a big topic,
No,
but
it
I
is.
know we'll link some stuff below on other things that
Yeah.
we have on the topic. I know I've written about it a lot on LinkedIn, because I did a whole Barbie. Do you remember this one?
Yes,
I
I
was
do.
so over it. I took the Barbie speech, but I made it. I made it layoff based
Yep.
um, during that summer, so that was fun. I'll have to revisit that. But
Well, that's it for today. That's all we
yeah,
have time for.
that's all she
So
wrote.
cut.